Well, hello and welcome back. Today I'm getting started off by trimming to length what will become our header for our stairs, followed by our rim joist, and then the deck joists, which are actually really short in this case, and they look more like blocking. We've decided to increase the overall deck area by another 2 feet, just to give a little bit of extra elbow room up in the top platform. When it was first built, it was a little bit shy, and this will just ensure that when awkward things are being moved in and out or two people have to pass, that there's lots of room under there without having to worry about tripping off the edge of a set of stairs. I'm always on the watch out for areas that might incur cumulative air or compounding air. An example would be when you make a mark and your mark includes the thickness of a pencil line. And the next time you cut, if you measure off of that board, you have now 2 thicknesses of pencil line and 3, etc. So I always make my first piece a template and I measure off that same piece each time. And I like to mark the piece with the letters TPT, just so I remember which it is if I stop for coffee or lunch or something like that and I come back, there's no question what one I'm working off of. I just want to show this. I screwed up and I forgot to put the copper coating on it. But pulling these out, this just pulled through the face of that 2x12. And that just shows the holding power of a galvanized ring shank nail. And so if there's any doubts about, I know some people, they live and breathe screws and they think everything should be put together with screws. And this is proof right here. Just how strong these nails are. I want to talk for a second about making the best out of your lumber. This one here is a pretty gnarly split, and this type of thing often happens once it's been loaded up. I'm not blaming the yard, and they're a great yard. They take it back, no problem. But there's no need for us to reject this board. This one's going to be used in an application where it's actually going to get sistered onto the existing one, so it's going to be just fine. And that's why I chose this particular board, just so I can still stay on schedule, and it won't harm it in the least for this to be laminated on there. Between the glue and maybe a couple extra nails, it'll be great. Alright, well, we're back on track now that I've pulled apart what we had and coated the fresh cuts on our deck joists with wood preservative. I gotta say, I definitely make more mistakes when there's a camera running. I think it's that I'm taking more time to think about where the camera is and trying not to block all the shots. But yeah, it's definitely a different experience. My hat goes off to those of you that do this all the time. I'm building this little deck extension upside down at the moment, and the ease of that will probably become apparent here pretty soon. But one thing that I'm trying to keep in mind is that the paving stone walkway that I'm building on right now is very uneven, and it's so much so that it's out an inch over the length of this 9-foot extension. So I just want to make sure that I get the bottom flushed up properly here, because that bottom will actually be the top, and I want to ensure that when I lay the decking boards on this later that everything lays down nicely. I don't want to have anything that could become a trip hazard. Eight and 16th. Huh. How's that for luck? Wet wood. Wet pressure treated wood. When the lumber is so thoroughly wet, combined with the preservative that they use for pressure treating, it seems like nothing wants to stick to this stuff, and pencil lines just get lost. It's a dark line on dark wood. So one thing that I have found that works even much better than a lumber crayon are these paint sticks, and they basically go on like a crayon, but they're made more up of a permanent paint. And they don't seem to have any problems with writing in the wet or oily stuff or whatever. So it's always nice to keep one of those on hand for moments like this. They can really be a lifesaver. I know laying out with a lumber crayon might seem a little bit sloppy, but something to keep in mind is there's no point being more accurate than what you need to do or what you need to be. I'm not saying don't take pride in your work, just saying don't go overboard. 108 and 1/16. And this is a perfect example where if I'm out an 1/8 of an inch on these interior cripples, it won't make any difference. 108 and 16. Alright, finish nailing it. After we flip it and check it. This is the time right now to find out if something did not go flush. We look okay. We'll do the same. Seeing as how we have to flip this over upside down anyways. Okay, One final thing we're going to do before we put this into place, we're just going to get some of that green treating inside this crack that runs here. Just give it a little bit of an extra fighting chance. Watch out, Finn. Leave it. Okay, leave it. Oh boy. Let's see. Okay, not too bad. Alright, now you see why I put those hangers in there, those blocks, back at the beginning. And I can be rather forgetful sometimes, so I tend to put things like that in right off the bat. Nothing worse than holding 150 pounds of something up and then realizing you forgot to put what was going to help you do it as one person. This adhesive has one job, and that is to keep this thing from squeaking and clicking. As the wood dries out, things start to shrink. Having a pair of boards sistered like this in a spot where everyone's going to walk. Okay, you'll notice that I put all the adhesive vertically. That's for a very important reason. You see sometimes guys will do like S shapes and stuff. What you end up doing then is you create a pocket that catches rainwater. An area like this, here in Canada, it rains a lot. And last thing we need is to give this any extra help rotting out. So vertical only, water will get in the top, water will be able to flow through this way. Okay. What I don't want to do is find out that I'm off half an inch in elevation here, nail the thing all in, and then find out that I'm off, and then have a pocket created where it's not sucked fully tight. So this side, for example, has to go up. Should be good. We are a little too much, actually. Good. Okay. And we can continue to build off of this. We know we got good level, but still check it from time to time. But this will give us a good face, this 2x12 to hang our stairs off of. It's nice to have a little extra meat sometimes. Off we go. It's about dinner time.